Joining us once again for the latest in the livestock markets is Derrell Peel, our Extension Livestock Marketing Specialist. Derrell, let's start out with the impact of Sandy. We obviously know what's happened in New York and up in the Northeast. What does it do for cattle markets, though?
Well, you know, Sandy affected a tremendous population center, so it clearly had some impact on beef demand. You know, folks that knew the storm was coming weren't buying as many perishable foods. During the time of the storm, you know, they're not eating out as much and so on. And so that takes away business that'll never come back. It's just lost business for the beef industry. And I think we can see that in some of the weakness we've had in boxed beef prices. So it's a short-term, relatively short-term phenomenon. It's probably not in the grand scheme of things a really major event, but it does contribute to the current kind of weakness we're seeing and the sort of limitations we're seeing in beef demand right now.
Okay, of course, with that storm, they've had too much rain, but as we can see from this field, we need a lot of rain here.
You know, the wheat pasture situation is really disappointing this year. In contrast to last year where it was very dry early and it looked like we weren't going to have a chance for wheat pasture, when we finally got it, it was very, very good. This year it started off the other way. We had some moisture in September and early October, got the wheat planted, most of the wheat is up, and now it's dry again. There's no subsoil moisture, and so without additional rains, a lot of this wheat simply will not survive. And so we're very vulnerable to that right now. Clearly we don't have grazing potential at this point, and unless we get rain, we're not going to see any grazing potential.
And of course, that obviously is the stalker side of things, but let's talk about cow-calf operators. What are they seeing out there?
Well, you know, if you think about this summer as another drought year, compared to last year, we have not seen the kind of liquidation and the impacts on the cow-calf herd that we had last year. We had massive liquidation, partly because numbers were down. We haven't needed to liquidate this year. We did have better forage early in the year, but a lot of folks, you know, have sort of marginal hay supplies. They were counting on using wheat pasture for grazing, and more importantly, in many cases now, we find ourselves as dry or very nearly as dry as we were at any time last year, and the situation for pond water, stock water, is very, very critical in a lot of cases. And as we go forward, again, without rains, not only to make wheat pasture, but also to replenish some pond water, we're going to see increasing problems as we go through the winter for these cow-calf producers.
All right, let's put all of that into context of the markets. I guess the big question everybody has is, are we going to have another sell-off?
You know, I think we're heading towards that at this point in time. I mean, clearly the water situation as well as the forage situation, unless something changes and we start to see moisture, we're headed towards the next round of liquidation here in Oklahoma. Some of that will begin through the winter, because I think some of these producers don't have enough water, maybe not enough forage to get through the winter. And even if we do, but it's still dry next spring, clearly we will face almost immediate next round of liquidation going into the spring green up, or the lack of green up, if that should be the case next spring.
All right, good information as always. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.